Hello, folks. Welcome to a special live edition of the Drive-In with me, XFL Jim, and my man Herman over here. Christian! What's up, dude?
Not too much. I am just living. Tomorrow is the Pale Blue Eye comes out tomorrow on Netflix, so I'm fucking hyped.
Be ready, folks.
Gonna watch that for my 15 minutes of fame, and I'm excited.
When you do that, because I'm going to be at work during the whole time, I'm going to watch it too. If not tomorrow, then this weekend for sure. We'll have to find where you're at, and we'll have to do a deep dive dissection of that scene, of the multiple scenes.
We'll make sure that it's totally overanalyzed and why I'm acting a certain way. It's all super crazy method acting, so I hope everyone's ready for it.
Everyone will be ready. Everyone must be ready because it's going to be big. Celebrate January 6th responsibly. Go see the Pale Blue Eye.
Exactly. That's I was so confused why they picked that date as a celebratory, this is when we're gonna,
I guess because it's a Friday.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that's probably maybe
the first Friday of the new year.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, I mean when you put it that way, then I'm stupid then for even thinking that.
So we watch a lot of movies. We see a decent amount of films. This stream in particular is us discussing and talking about our most overrated and underrated films we saw this year. Not movies that necessarily came out in 2022, but movies that we saw this year.
Correct. I mean, we've seen a ton of movies this year, and I just thought, this would be cool. Originally started out at 5, and then I'm not mentally correct enough to do 5, so I figured we'd come down 4. And yeah, I think this is good. Give some recommendations out there to the people, what to look out for, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Making this list made me realize I didn't watch nearly enough movies in 2022, especially compared to the previous couple years. That's a resolution of mine. Is I want to watch more movies this year, way more.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to find sometimes, 2 hours in a given day, 3 hours in a given day.
3.5 if you're watching Avatar, baby.
That's right. If you're watching Avatar and contributing to they need 2 billion. I think they're at 1.5 now. Yeah, it's definitely a tall task, especially shows. I experience it more with shows where it's like I don't quite have the time to binge something. And I feel like if you're not going to watch it all in a row, like some of the cohesive aspect, your mind wanders. Like I haven't watched this in 3 fucking weeks, but
I just got done binging something, and I literally put everything else on the back burner. So I really feel it when I get into something. It's the same way if I find a book that I like, where I get into a book, I do nothing but read the book until it's done, and then everything else just gets delayed.
Oh yeah, I have I think 3 books in there that are maybe halfway read. I haven't completed them, but yeah, the binge watching, that's another aspect I understand, because it's certain Sundays where you're just absolutely fucking burnt out. It's I'm just gonna fucking chill on the couch and just eat garbage food and just watch so much of movies in succession. It's gonna work great.
You're damn right. So let's just jump into it. Christian, why don't you start us off? Should we flip-flop? Should we each do one overrated and then do an underrated?
Yeah,
let's do it that way.
Yeah, I think that works.
What was your 4th most overrated movie of the year?
Okay, so
that you saw.
So we're gonna do. So you said we're gonna go from overrated to underrated.
Overrated, underrated. Yeah. So your number 4 overrated movie that you saw this year.
Okay. So I don't have these ranked, but let me think. Okay, I am gonna go with one that was nominated for the Academy Award this past year with Dune. I see
it. I liked it, but I understand.
I really thought it was bloated. I thought it was super drawn out, and I didn't necessarily think there was a ton of action actually going on. I thought as though it was just one big fucking trailer for the next, because I think there is a sequel, right? So
definitely.
They hyped up Zendaya, who's excellent, in the trailer, and then she had little to no role at all.
Do you think
good cast?
Oh, great, Kat. Do you think that your opinion of Overrated for this movie stems from the marketing? Because I know she was all over that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
Good
read
take,
the
Jenna.
book. I didn't read the book. Yeah, thank you, Jenna. I probably will fall asleep during the first one as well. I mean, it's been a while since I watched the first one, but no, I don't know. Sci-fi's tough for me. Sometimes sci-fi falls flat. I think maybe my movie style is just more like realistic, like things that actually happen in everyday life. But like, I am a huge fan of Star Wars for what it's worth. But like, yeah, I thought Dune was a bit bloated. I didn't read the book, which I heard is like an insane read. It's like 1,000,000,000 pages. I heard the original Dune sucked.
Oh, the
David Lynch.
It's not great. I've seen that one. Not great. It's actually comically bad at some points, but his movie, they do like the whole series of Dune in one movie.
Okay.
So it's, instead of feeling like plotting and a little slow and feeling like a trailer, it feels very quick and very compacted, and you feel like you lose yourself at points. It's also hilarious. Some of like the effects that they have to do, it's very Lynchian in some of the ways he pulls some stuff off. It's a very funny movie in my regard, in my opinion, but some of the actors are really good. And I too have never read the books, but could you imagine if they tried to squeeze the entire like Harry Potter series into one movie?
It would be absolute insanity.
It'd be insanity.
I could give you a top 10 least favorite David. I'm not a fan of David Lynch's work to begin with. He's probably my most overrated director in all honesty.
Ooh.
I haven't seen Eraserhead.
You like Mulholland Drive?
I thought Mulholland Drive was fine. I guess without getting into it too deep, I just feel as though I think a lot of Lynch's work is like, it's like dreamlike, and I feel like you can apply a lot of like mistakes in the plot or like issues going on in the film to be like, oh, well, like it's not supposed to make sense. Those type of things like never connect with me when it's like, well, it's actually supposed to be bad, or like it's a dream state, so like it's not supposed to make any sense because it's like in a dream world. It's like, bro, like give me a fucking break. Sorry.
I watched Dune as well. I didn't dislike it. I think Dune for me is like a 7 out of 10, somewhere around those regards. I liked it. I'm a big, like, even if movies don't have a ton of plot, I love watching these kinds of movies for the special and visual effects alone, because I'm a big VFX buff.
I was going to say, I mean, I agree. And Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune, I mean, he has some pretty good movies under his belt.
Dune, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival was fantastic. Those are just his sci-fi movies.
And I've heard Sicario really good.
Sicario's
really
great.
Good.
And then he did Prisoners is awesome.
I didn't like Enemy that much, but Enemy is like a cult classic.
When did Enemy come out?
Enemy came out in 2013.
So he did Prisoners and Enemy in the same year those came out.
That's actually pretty tough.
Sicario in 2015, Arrival in 2016, and Blade Runner 2049 in 2017.
That's like a really fucking good stretch of movies.
That's such a good stretch of movies.
And they're all well received. Like all of these movies, I'm looking at the ratings and like they're all really good.
I absolutely love Blade Runner. I love it. Love it so much. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just Ryan Gosling. He's got you in a chokehold.
He does. He really does. Dune, I liked. I agree with you that the pacing was an issue for me. And
pacing fucked it up.
Both Dune movies have fucked up pacing for different reasons. So my number 4 is actually a classic movie for Overrated.
Is this okay? So you're going Overrated and then
I'm going to do Overrated and then we'll go we'll go to your Underrated.
Okay.
I watched The Godfather this year and I thought it was a tad overrated.
Oh man,
just a tad. It was good. It was really good. Don't get me wrong.
It insists upon itself. Lois.
It's not even that. It's again similarly to what your issues were doing. I felt that The Godfather had some pacing issues.
The Godfather movies.
It seems to just jump from like there's good scenes, but it feels like it just jumps from good scene to good scene with not the strongest thread for everything, tying everything together.
I think, and this is the Godfathers are in my, oh yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, Jenny,
R.I.P.
Sonny's death is it's very sad. And it's very
Someone
dramatic,
said,
and I do like it.
Someone said if Sonny just had an easy pass, he would have been alive playing bocce today. Just as an old Italian guy.
That was another part that kind of took me out, is the deaths themselves are very, like, over dramatic. I get it, and it's fine.
Right.
But the movie also tries to go for this gritty, realistic tone, and every time there's like a death, it took me out.
I think that, and I have The Godfathers in my top 5 films ever. Like I like the second one actually more than the first.
Second one, I watched both of them. I did like the second one more.
Okay. I mean, sometimes, I mean, the subtitles are needed because there's a ton of Italian spoken where it's like without subtitles, it's a little bit maybe lost, but it plays out sort of like a really good soap opera in a way. I felt the same way with like Drive. I thought Drive had elements to it that sort of felt like a soap opera. So like what you're saying about maybe a disconnect with pacing or like jumping from good scene to good scene, that might be like the soap opera aspect of it where it doesn't, maybe the flow doesn't match the type of movies that you like flow.
I don't want this to come across as me not liking the movie, because I very much did like the movie. But like you said, you have it in your top 5. I would not put it in my top 10.
That's fair. I think there are a lot of people, probably yourself included, that prefer Goodfellas to The Godfather, and I'm not gonna.
Yes.
And The Goodfellas has way more like funny moments. I totally understand, no qualms. But like,
I'm trying to think now. I think it's either tied, or The Godfather's either tied with or right above Casino for me.
And Casino's another,
I really like Casino too.
Really solid one. Really good colors in that film, like the suits and
love the colors. Love the color grading in that
wardrobe
movie.
And shit was really good. Yeah, man. I love the first Godfather. I think it's a classic. But I understand people's issues with it.
Yes, Jenna. Yes.
That's like one of those great improvised lines. Like another thing that's difficult sometimes is when you're criticizing or you have issues with a film is like they're trying to do the book justice. So it's like, if they're following the book properly, or like say it's based on true events,
there could be issues with the book, or it's
tough to be like, because that happens with me where I'll be like, oh, I don't like this one film, and it's like, well, it's based on true events. Like they couldn't have made like if I was like, oh, this guy should have died, or like this guy should have. It's like, well, it's based on true events, and like then that would make it historically inaccurate. So I think maybe with the history aspect as well as the book, there is some of that where like they can't really pigeonhole themselves. But I thought it was entertaining. Maybe that's not your issue. You don't have an issue with it.
No, it was entertaining. It was good. I just don't think it's like as good as a lot of, like, people say this about Citizen Kane all the time, or like a lot of classic films get propped up because they're classics, and people like The Godfather obviously set the stage for a lot of gangster movies, and it's huge and it's very important. It's just not one of my top 5, and everyone puts it in like their top 3, top 1, whatever.
Right.
And I think it's good. I think it's even great at points. I don't think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
I totally understand. Sometimes that happens with top films. I mean, 2001 is an example of like, I love 2001: A Space Odyssey, but like people have watched that and be like, it was boring. I didn't really like it. And it's like, that's fine. Totally get it. Yeah, it is what it is. I respect your opinion, Jim. I think that's a good place to start. And it's only number 4.
People aren't going to like people are probably not going to like my 4 and my 3. Those are probably the most controversial that I have for overrated. Okay. What's your number 4 underrated?
So
wait, before that, Casino or Goodfellas? I'm going to go Goodfellas every time, but
I
do love Casino.
I am also going to go Goodfellas just because I think they're both like sort of the same movie in a way. I just think Goodfellas has more memorable moments. With De Niro and I don't know, Shine Box.
I would go Goodfellas as well.
Yeah, I would go Goodfellas. I think the better question for me would be Goodfellas or whichever you prefer from The Town or The Departed. I like all 3 of those movies. Like
they're all really good.
I probably pick Goodfellas of the
I was
three,
gonna say I'd probably still
but
put good.
but I do prefer The Town, and I do prefer The Town and The Departed to Casino. I'll say that.
I don't know if I do. I might prefer
Okay.
The Town.
Jeremy Renner in that was really, really good.
He was really good. I think I still put Casino above it. It's because I'm
That's
a
fair.
gambling addict.
Oh yeah. Aren't we all? So like I said, I did not rank. So off the top of my head, I'm looking at my 4. What do I feel is the 4th most underrated movie that I've seen this year?
I like that I'm putting you on the spot here, making you rank them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I am going to go with, this is sort of a random movie, is A River Runs Through It. This is a Robert Redford directed film. Brad Pitt is in it. I have the plot here. It's basically 2 brothers, and they live in like rural Montana, and like the one thing they do together is like fly fish. And their dad's a minister, and then he eventually leaves, the one brother, Brad Pitt, and he sort of does all these things with his life, sort of shit stuff. And then he comes back home, and his other brother is like an engineer, or like he's a doctor. He's something really, really important. And it's just a really interesting dynamic, like looking at 2 brothers. Like any movie that's about siblings or like friends that are like very alike, but then also very, very different. That just hits hard for me. I just enjoy those kind of movies. So yeah, I mean, this is just a really excellent film where like, if you wanted to watch this with like your mother, or like, it's very like, I don't know if it's rated. Yeah, it is rated PG, but like, it is such a, I don't know. It's one of those movies that like, it should have been on TV all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you could just read the rewatch value, and it's like, it's got that like, what are other movies that are in the same vein? Like A Dead Poet Society, or like October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, those kind of feel.
Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it, and I love Brad Pitt. Like he's just the absolute best. I love him. Tom Skerritt is the dad in that. I don't know what the fuck else he's in, but I know that's a huge name. I'm not seeing much, but I mean, I would recommend it. Really, really great Brad Pitt film, and any movie about brothers, like I said, brothers, siblings, got it for me.
I like that move.
Going completely random.
My number 4 underrated. I saw a little horror movie. This one did come out this year. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So it's got Pete Davidson in it. It's got a relatively unknown cast other than Pete Davidson. It's got Lee Pace, which Lee Pace is great. It's kind of like a dumb, fun horror movie that the advertisements didn't really do it any good. It's a whodunit horror. And like, who's the killer, what happened, what causing all this. Where like a party game turns into an actual murder fest, which we've seen before. It's a premise we've seen before. But the way they do it and the twist they have, the twist is what really makes the movie. And I'm not going to spoil it, of course. But it's a very fun, thoughtful, like, current movie.
I didn't see much marketing for this film. I saw like a couple clips of like Pete Davidson like saying funny things, or like
he's pretty good in it.
Yeah, but like I personally I really like campy horror films. Like I really like horror films that embrace that, like, I don't know, they're college students or high school students just like doing drugs, having sex, getting murdered, and like that's what I love about like Texas Chainsaw, or like the 2008 version of and like basically. It's not
that big of a twist, but there is a twist at the end of the movie that just turns it from like a generic sort of fun horror to like a very funny horror movie. Like it turns it to like it makes it very funny.
And honest to God, if you wouldn't have said this, I don't know the likelihood that I would have watched, just because when I see comedy / horror, that's not like the best description for me typically going into it.
I would not call it a comedy / horror. It is a horror movie, and it is campy like you said. Exactly, Chase, like a cinnamon twist. Sweetens it. So it's a horror movie, and it's very campy. There are comedy elements in it, but it doesn't turn into like it's basically, once you get to the end, the whole thing becomes extremely funny.
Okay. There was a.
That's as much as I can give.
Did you ever see Cabin in the Woods?
I did. Love that movie.
Cabin in the Woods comes to mind of like a movie that was like kind of funny. Like I guess I'd put that in like the horror comedy realm. Like it randomly ended up being like really solid. Unless this isn't the movie I'm talking about here.
No, Cabin in the Woods is
it is. It is.
Yeah. Chase was saying the banana splits. We saw that last when Chase came to visit. We watched Banana Splits. I don't know if you've heard of Banana Splits.
Never.
It's in the vein of like when Five Nights at Freddy's got really big. It's animatronics come to life and murder everybody. It's very gory, very campy, not taking itself seriously whatsoever as a horror movie, but extremely good kills, very gory, very bloody, very fun.
I mean, I'm going to have to check this out, I think. And it's short, too. What's not to love about a 90-minute movie?
Yeah, Banana Splits also recommend. Bodies, recommend fully. Very good. And that's my number 4, underrated movie of the year.
I stand by it. I'm adding it now to my iPhone notes. I am ready. My body is ready to watch this movie. Absolutely.
Love it.
It's terrible. But, okay, so now I'm jumping back to Overrated.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll jump into this one. This is probably going to be maybe more. Oh, this might be a hated pick. I'm going to say Glass Onion was pretty overrated.
Man,
I adore Knives Out. I think Rian Johnson is like an excellent director. Last Jedi is my favorite of the
three new
Star
ones.
Wars trilogy. I think Force Awakens is probably like the obvious pick for like the best, but my favorite of that was Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. And yeah, I really like Knives Out. I'm a sucker for a whodunit. You're also a fan of those.
Love it.
I just sort of just didn't. It never really caught on with me. The storyline, once, I don't know if this is giving it away, but there is a twin. And I think once that was revealed that there is this twin, it just sort of like, I don't know. It just sort of followed the girl a lot, and I didn't really care about the girl that much. I like what the movie represents, though. If this is going to become like one of those like very long, like Fast and Furious, like where it's like we're gonna get like 10 of these. It's like, yeah, because
I love the world.
Yeah, I think this is a really excellent like holiday. Like I saw a tweet where it's like if they could push this out like once a year and you could watch it like every Thanksgiving or like every Christmas. Chase said this. Yeah.
Chase said this, and this is one of the biggest disagreements he and me have. I will watch every movie that has Daniel Craig doing a Southern accent. I'm 3 for 3, and I've loved them all. I liked Glass Onion. I put Knives Out above it. For me, like similar to you, my issue with Glass Onion is that they followed it felt more like it was one person, while in Knives Out, it felt like you were getting involved with everybody. Like I felt like obviously Glass Onion had very good characters, and like all the cast was great and fun. But I wish they would have been more sort of involved.
Yeah, I think what's the point of doing like an ensemble cast if you're not gonna like absolutely really shell out divvy out the stuff, which in the first one I agree that's precisely what happened in Glass Onion.
The twist in the first one was better.
Oh, absolutely. And honest to God, not to be holier than thou, but like the person who ends up being whodunit, like I predicted that as well as my girlfriend as we were watching it, just because it seemed like a logical choice from the beginning. It just sort of seemed like, yeah, probably.
I will say I did like the game. I'm not going to say any more than that. Like Daniel Craig again was amazing.
Michael Shannon being Chase's favorite actor is interesting. I really liked him in, obviously 8 Mile. The movie that he was in, what was it?
I liked him in Man of Steel even.
Man of Steel, he was good. Shape of Water, very random. But the movie Take Shelter with him was like a really weird movie. If you've never seen that, I would check that out. it's critically acclaimed, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like unlike anything I've ever seen.
Okay.
But what's the other movie that he's in? Michael Shannon. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke. That movie is fucking excellent.
Okay.
But Glass Onion, like I said, I like what it represents. I'm sure we're gonna get like a third one. I mean, I like Dave Bautista in it. I grew up watching WWF, so like having him in it, he's always excellent. He's excellent.
I thought all the actors did a good job.
Absolutely.
Again, I like the movie.
Fabulous job. I mean, 69 Mega. I really need love bad.
Yeah, I saw that. I blocked that. I love it when we get bots in the live stream. It means we're actually getting some viewers. It's my overrated film. Again. Oh, Chase has a nice little fun fact. Director of Take Shelters from Little Rock.
Wow.
Brother's the lead singer of Lucero.
There has to be a connection there. Chase is always going for the hometown hero guys. I think there's got to be the Arkansas connection to Michael.
Again, I feel like people are going to be contentious with my number 3 overrated movie. Because it's another classic. And again, it was a good movie. Want to get this through people's head. It was a good movie. I just don't think it was as good as a lot of people say. It was the first Hellraiser.
Okay.
It was slow. The fact that they dub over all the lines, every actor's lines are dubbed over, which is insane. That's crazy. And some of the actors are just not good. I'm just going to say it. Some of the actors are just not good. Special effects, mind-blowing. When that body is being like created out of the floor, love that. Some of the best special effects I've ever seen. But the pacing is, again, it's the pacing. It's very slow. Very slow. And the acting is just not there.
I love Ron Perlman. He's excellent on Twitter. Like, he is excellent as Hellraiser. Like, Ron Perlman is really, really
No. Hellraiser, the horror movie.
Yeah, you're not talking about Hellboy. You're not talking about...
No.
I always fucking mix these up.
I know you. Yeah.
You're talking about the pins and needles.
Yes.
And needles.
Yeah.
Okay. I have legit not seen that movie. I have not seen
Okay.
I've not seen
Okay.
Hellraiser. But every line being dubbed is kind of so stupid.
It's very dumb that every line, all the actors are dubbed.
It does seem to be a cult classic. It comes around a lot.
It is good. It is a good movie. I haven't seen the remake because they just had a remake that came out this year.
Okay.
Have you seen that? So I haven't seen the remake. Like the original one, it's a good movie. I like Hellraiser 1. I like Hellraiser 2, but it's just overrated. It's not... People list it as like one of the best horror movies of all time. No.
How many times am I going to mix up Nice Guys and the Other Guys, and then Hellboy and Hellraiser?
Probably every time we talk about him.
Yeah.
I also want to just say Clive Barker is awesome. He was writing this. He wrote the book that this movie's based off of. He wrote the movie, directed the movie, and then he was writing another book all at the same time.
It's crazy what happens when you just you go inside your consciousness and you just drop it. You just drop it everywhere.
I didn't know this, Jenna. With the fun fact, the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon created 3 ghost bad guys based on the Hellraiser characters.
Wow. Ghostbuster cartoon, as well as Ghostbusters, Bill Murray. A lot of stuff coming out about Bill Murray not being that good of a guy, but...
whatever.
He's Bill Murray. He's Bill fucking Murray. Like,
right?
Favorite Bill Murray movie?
Ooh. It's probably Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Same.
Yeah, Caddyshack's good too.
Caddyshack, I don't know if I consider that a Bill Murray movie.
Yeah,
I love him in it. He's fantastic in it.
Yeah. That's more of a Chevy Chase movie, maybe?
I'd call that more of a Chevy Chase movie.
Okay.
I haven't seen what's that movie he's in with ScarJo, because I haven't seen that one.
Or more of a Rodney Dangerfield movie, because Rodney Dangerfield just takes over anything he's in.
Anything he's in, it's a Rodney Dangerfield movie.
That's like a good measure of like someone's taste. If they know who Rodney Dangerfield is, because now younger kids, it's a toss up. But like he's just like his one-liners are just always so fucking good. I don't know which one you're talking about. The other Bill Murray one you're talking. It's not Lost in Translation.
There you go.
Is it Lost in Translation?
It is Lost in Translation.
Sophia Coppola directed.
Yep.
bad actress Sofia Coppola, the baby in the first Godfather.
Yeah, bad actress, really good director.
Yeah, yeah. And you see, if you've not seen The Godfather 3, she is terrible.
Not gonna see it.
Acting.
Not gonna watch it.
Oh, come on, you gotta watch it.
Not gonna watch it.
Anyway,
I was talking about this with a friend. Sometimes, like shows especially, but sometimes movies, I feel like Godfather 2 is a good way to end it. Like I don't need a third.
That's totally fair. And
I do it with shows all the time, where it's just like I get to a point. It's like, hey, this is fine. I'm good with this sort of ending. I don't need more. If the season's good. I'm not going to watch it. It ends where I want it to end.
That is where a lot of people are with Death Note, which like I absolutely love. That's my favorite anime ever. There's just
love it.
A certain point in Death Note where I think it's episode 25 where like a lot of people quit out, and it's like if you want to do that, then like that's fine. Go ahead, do it.
Yep. I totally get that.
So yeah, understand it. So we're back to me for an underrated.
Appreciate that, Brendan, by the way. He said unreal perspective by me. So.
Oh, I love it. Love Brendan coming in.
Number
Brendan
3,
bad.
underrated for you.
Number 3, underrated for me. I'm going to have to go with the new Jonah Hill documentary called Stutz. This was really, really fucking good. It's about his therapist. It's basically him interviewing his therapist, and he's sort of he's trying to get him to relay the tools that help Jonah in his life sort of recover from the fat phobia stuff. It's very clear like that really fucked up Jonah Hill, like, and it sucks looking back just how often, like, if you look at past interviews, it's just like he was just like the fat like point loud.
He was the fat guy, yeah. Ever since Superbad is what really he was just the fat guy.
Right. And there's interviews where he does snap, or they'll like make a joke or something, and he'll be like just so dead ass, straight faced. But it's his therapist also has Parkinson's, and he's really old. So like you got like the old sage wise man aspect to it. But I don't like to throw this around, but it is sort of unlike anything I've ever seen. It's just really weird seeing like a live therapy session almost between, and it's written and directed by Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill talks about the loss of his brother. It's just a really, really, like, I felt like I just left a therapy session watching it. Like, it gives you a lot of really great tools to like take with you. It's like a Sunday school thing, but for film. It's just really, really excellent. 90% of it's in black and white, but it just came out. It's available on Netflix.
What's it called again?
Stutz, Stutz. And yeah, it's really, really good. And like, there's a lot of ball busting. Like, there's a lot of just like swear words, and like they're both really foul mouthed. And like and Jonah Hill just seems like he's totally transformed his life. Like, he's become super cool, like the surfer dude.
He's the hipster now.
Yeah, he's at the blonde, slick back hair. Like, he just seems like he's at a much, much better place. And good for Jonah. I was really, really, really recommend this one. I don't know if I can say underrated because it's highly thought of, but not many people.
I had never heard of it, so
yeah. Directed and written by Jonah Hill, and you basically have two people in it, Jonah Hill and Stutz, and then Jonah Hill's mom comes in. But yeah, it's intense. It is in fucking tense. Jonah Hill's sister can get it. Yeah, that's
yes, she can. Also, Chase did bring this up. This Place Rules, produced by Jonah Hill, to stay on topic. So have you heard of Channel 5 News or All Gas, No Brakes?
I would maybe have to see it to know.
So
off name, no.
I'll show you afterwards. This guy, Andrew Callaghan, he does these like documentary series. He just came out with a film on HBO. It just released like last week, called This Place Rules, where it's him. So he'll go to like big events. He'll go to like conservative marches, Democrat marches, riot places, stuff like that, and just interviews people. And so this movie's kind of his take, where he saw January 6th unfold as it was approaching during 2020.
This is the long-haired.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. This is okay.
I just saw it like this Sunday. It's fantastic.
Okay. I've heard a lot of really. I feel like I've seen so much coverage of this, like on TikTok and stuff, but I never put that together.
All over TikTok.
Like, oh, this is that. Yeah, he seems to be
really good.
He seems to be a really funny guy and intellectual. I like whenever it's like thought-provoking stuff, and like it seems like he's got that on lock.
I love it. My number 3 underrated movie, and maybe just because I feel I didn't get enough praise when it came out or for the rest of the year. I really, really liked Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. Quite liked it. Thought it was really good. Very entertaining. Maybe people expected a horror movie, and I don't think it was that. But I was thoroughly entertained, and I want to see it again.
I think another rewatch of Nope could do a body good. I love seeing it in theaters. I
did see it in theaters too.
I admire Jordan Peele as a director. I think he's excellent. Yeah, there were a lot of people that, didn't seem to care for it all that much. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. The Hollywood symbolism and like the spectacle stuff, like I think it had a lot to say. Jordan Peele's like, I don't know, he's like very Kubrickian with like his Easter eggs, and like I like that about him. That like, I guess one thing I've always said about the mark of a good movie is like on paper, like just on the surface, it's like, yeah, that's good. And then as you peel back the layers, it's like,
it gets
oh
better.
Shit. I didn't even know that like the Fruit Loops in Get Out, when there was no milk and it was like would separate the white from it's like there's so many little things where, and actually I think Jordan Peele said that wasn't a thing, but there are so many things riddled in his films that are like, that's really good, that's really good, that's really good. So
exactly. There's plenty of good movies, but to me a great movie gets better every time you watch it.
I agree. And Nope, I mean, Nope and Us. I actually like. Get Out is my least favorite of the 3. Actually, I like Us and Nope better. Yeah,
I think I put Nope, Get Out, and then Us, but they're all really close.
People seem to think Us is the worst. I don't know. I like Us.
I like all 3. I like all 3.
Creepy. There were the bunny rabbits. Like,
I thought the last maybe quarter of the movie was kind of dumb, but it was good.
Yeah,
it was really
that is fair.
Back to Overrated.
And yeah, Heat. I have yet to see Heat.
I love Heat. Heat's great.
That's a 3-hour movie, so I know that I have to like strap in. But like De Niro and Pacino, like it's a must watch that I need to see. So that's up there. So now I'm going to Overrated.
Number 2.
I'm going to go with yet another 2021 in the Best Picture category with Nightmare Alley.
You talked to me about this one.
Yeah, let me just run down the list here of like Best Picture. So for this I mean, Coda won, which was like a deaf thing, which is cool. I didn't see it. I'm just going to be like, it was about a deaf thing, and that's cool. But Belfast, Don't Look Up, which like Don't Look Up at times felt like a bad SNL skit. Some of it was fine, but like I didn't think it should have been nominated. Dune, which like bleh. King Richard, thought that was solid. Will Smith. Licorice Pizza, excellent. Paul Thomas Anderson is excellent.
Oh, love me some PTA.
Yeah, he's so fucking good. West Side Story, which was fine. That was really solid. I've never seen the original, but Ansel Elgort was really good in that. The Power of the Dog, which was like the leading front runner for winning Best Picture up until the last minute with Coda. But Power of the Dog was overrated. And then I get to Nightmare Alley. I'm a fan of noir films.
Same.
That's sort of the genre I identify with the most, of like the older black and white films, or like the older films from the 40s and 50s and such. Like those are ones that I can throw on and watch seamlessly. And this is in that category. And I don't know, it just sort of fell flat. I thought it was one of those movies where the ending couldn't hold it up. It couldn't hold the weight of the movie. It was good when it got to that point, but I thought it took forever to get there. And Guillermo del Toro, I mean, his movies, there's not a ton of them that I really jive with. Like, I mean, Shape of Water might be one of the worst Academy Award winning films for Best Picture ever. Like, that movie was weird. I mean,
I think that was the only year that I saw every Best Picture nominee.
I mean, that year, the amount of movies in that category that should have won that didn't is like absolutely fucking mind boggling. It was like, what, Dunkirk was there, Call Me by Your Name was there, Lady Bird, there's
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
No, that was the year before.
Moonlight and La La Land, great movies, by the way. I just saw La La Land for the first time. But I don't know how I feel about Guillermo del Toro's directing style. Pacific Rim was fine. I never saw Pan's Labyrinth, which I heard is excellent.
I like Hellboy.
Hellboy, yeah, as I said, Ron Perlman, solid. But yeah, Nightmare Alley, I guess I would just say, like, really good cast. I love and adore Cate Blanchett. Willem Dafoe, excellent. Richard Jenkins, excellent. And Toni Collette, I mean, she turns an incredible performance in Hereditary, and she's a good actress. But I just, I'd rather just watch an older noir film than watch this. I feel like this is a strong disagree from you, but I'm ready.
No, I haven't seen Nightmare Alley, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought Shape of Water was fine. I thought it was like good, but I didn't think it was better than a lot of those movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we're forgetting the other ones. It's just like, dude, how did you whiff that hard and not nominate the other ones? But Guillermo del Toro, it's a fine movie, Nightmare Alley.
I'd say most of his movies. I don't know if I like the movies themselves, but I definitely love his style and vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
at the very least.
If I were to just take Nightmare Alley, which is a noir, Shape of Water, which is fish fucking, Pacific Rim, and
robot fucking,
and then something like Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy. I mean, that's pretty diverse. Like, there's a lot going on here in the discography. Like, good for him. I mean, diverse guy. I'm not. And he did the new Pinocchio, which I heard is amazing. So yeah, out on Nightmare Alley. I hope this year's list of Academy Award Best Picture is better than last year, because pretty overwhelming. King Richard was solid. I liked West Side Story already, and Licorice Pizza. I
didn't see Driving My Car, so I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I did not see that either. I heard that was excellent, but I'll watch Licorice Pizza over and over again. I thought that was so good.
Okay, I still haven't checked that one out. I need to watch it.
Very good.
My number 2, it might not be overrated for, like, people think that it's good, but it's based on the marketing and how big it was everywhere. It's that movie Smile that came out, where people just, like, around you start to do this weird smile thing and then kill themselves. And it's just a very bland, dumb, by-the-books horror movie that takes itself way too seriously for that kind of premise. And it's not even so good that it's bad. It's just bad.
It sounds like, and I've obviously, I mean, the marketing for this movie was insane. I mean, they had the girls behind, like, they were front row at, like, the Dodgers game.
Yeah, the World Series was nuts.
Or whatever it was. Yeah, so it's like, it kind of sounds like it's just like a poor man's The Happening. Like,
so did you ever see Truth or Dare when it came out a few years ago?
I did not.
So it's kind of like, it's not as big of a scale. It's more like, one person smiles, and then it's sort of like It Follows in that regard, where it's just one-on-one, and then it like dominoes to one person.
Sorry, the Chase comment about my nephew hyped up West Side Story, and I was like, I guess it's a wrap for you in sports, huh? Yeah. I guess at that point, if he's into West Side Story, it's like, yeah, that's tight end. You might not actually be on the football field, actually.
Not fullback material.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I heard, up and down things about the Truth or Dare one. I could see Smile being overrated. I think it has the makings of that, where, like, you can over market as much as you want, and, like, it's a unique marketing strategy with, like, the creepy smiling and all that. But, like, I don't know. It didn't provoke me enough to see it. The trailer looked really good, honestly.
It did. The trailer looked good. And I thought at the very least, with that kind of premise and the way they were, like, all the trailers and everything, I thought at the very least it would be funny if it was bad. And it was not. It was very boring and bland. And the worst thing a horror movie could be is boring.
I agree. I need to be scared, or it has to be like campy and like fun. It can be like one of those two.
It could be a really bad horror movie, but if it's so bad that I'm laughing and I'm having a good time, then we're fine.
Jason X,
perfect example. Go check
but
that out.
That wasn't even a bad movie though.
It was a bad movie.
It had realistically like one of the cooler special effects.
It did.
Of the early 2000s with the face thing and then Smash. That was
amazing.
That was really good. But yeah, I mean, I don't plan on seeing this anytime soon. Honestly, I don't really watch horror films, like new horror films, that much, just because I think it's such a crapshoot. Like, if there's one thing Netflix does extremely well, it's like churn out like 3 out of 10 horror films, or like it's like anytime it's just like suggested like Netflix original or Amazon Prime original, all these originals, it's like they all fucking suck.
And they're usually not even funny.
Right. Yeah. No, they're just, I don't know how to describe it. A lot of the times they're too bright, and that gets me.
I'm with you. I need someone to like curate the horror movies for me. That I have this guy whose opinions I like, and I know if it's a bad movie and it's funny, they'll say it, or if it's just a good movie, they'll say it. And I usually line up fairly well when it comes to horror movies. So there we go. Oh, Brennan, anyone else staying up till midnight for The Pale Blue Eyes?
I am super duper excited. Okay, so this is actually Truman Show level, like what we're seeing right here. So Brendan asking about the Pale Blue Eye. Chase just says the last horror movie he watched was Antlers. That is incorrect. Antlers is actually Scott Cooper, and Scott Cooper directed the Pale Blue Eye. And the next movie on my list, as I am at second underrated,
yes,
is Out of the Furnace, which is a Scott Cooper film, which I think is so weird that was back-to-back Pale Blue Eye, Antlers, and then now my pick is another Scott Cooper movie.
We're talking about dominoes here, people.
Talking about dominoes here, talking about Truman Show level shit. Out of the Furnace was fucking excellent. I'm just seeing this now, 53% of Rotten Tomatoes. Tragic. Christian Bale and Scott Cooper have done 3 movies together, so they have like really great chemistry. Which I'm hoping, also happens in the Pale Blue Eye. Out of the Furnace takes place in Western PA, which is like my roots. So it shows like Swissvale and Braddock. Shout out to John Fetterman. It's just a really, really good show of like gritty. It's supposed to be like Rust Belt. You're like Christian Bale is like the good brother who like is trying to just stay out of trouble. His brother is Casey Affleck, who is really good. And he ends up getting mixed up in like this West Virginia like fight ring. Like these people that like get the shit like beat out of them. Woody Harrelson, amazing in this. His name is Harlan DeGroat.
Love the name.
He's like the ultimate hoopy West Virginia batshit crazy meth shooting. Like, have you seen Sling Blade?
Yes.
He's like Doyle, like the biggest piece of shit you could possibly imagine. And Willem Dafoe is in this. I mean, it's a really, really it's a really good film. Once again, you're seeing a theme here with movies I like about maybe brothers, one that goes this way, one that goes the other. I vouch for The Godfathers. I mean, you got Fredo over here, Michael over here.
Yep.
It's like there's something about it, interpersonal relationships like that. But yeah, I mean, I really recommend Out of the Furnace. You get a really good cat and mouse between Christian Bale and Woody Harrelson. And Casey Affleck I mean, he's excellent. He gets.
He's not in a ton. He's not in a ton of movies, but when he's in them, they're good.
Right. I mean, the scene with the police station in Manchester by the Sea, like that was like insane. And obviously his minor part in Good Will Hunting was good. But yeah, I would say this is definitely a movie that deserves to be called underrated simply because looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I'm seeing it was produced by Leonardo DiCaprio. I did not know that. But yeah, I mean, this is easily my favorite Scott Cooper film. I have not seen Antlers. I have not seen, I have seen Black Mass, but I kind of thought it was junk. You saw Black Mass, Jim.
Which one was that one?
That was Johnny Depp as like a mob boss.
Oh, it's John Gotti?
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger.
Something like this.
He was Whitey Bulger. I thought it was, it was all right.
Yeah. And I watched that and I was like, oh shit, the Pale Blue Eye's gonna suck. Like, but this gives me hope now that the Pale Blue Eye will indeed exceed expectations. So that is my.
We'll have it. We'll post a review of it for sure.
We will absolutely do a review of the Pale Blue Eye. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna stay up tonight. I'm probably just gonna get good sleep tomorrow. I'll watch it early and I'll do timestamps. When you can see me, I'm gonna have to detail.
We'll do a review and deep dive on every part that you're in.
Yeah. I'll have to wear like sunglasses and be in like a director's chair and be like, what I was thinking in this particular scene, this 1 second clip of me drinking water. This is what was going through my mind. That's the one thing that I expect. If I'm in it just once, there is a scene where it's like a mess hall scene where
you were telling us about this.
Yeah, there's a mess hall scene where where everyone's drinking water and eating food. And Harry Melling, who plays Edgar Allan Poe, is directly across from me. And I am just drinking my water. And the director came up and was like, just want to let you know you're like in the direct line of vision. Like drink the water, be good. So I'm hoping that's like the big break. But excited.
We'll see.
Excited.
My number two underrated movie, and maybe this is A, recency bias, and B, I was high as fuck when I watched it. It's Moonfall.
I have not heard of this. Moonfall.
So Moonfall is a Netflix movie. No, was it on Netflix? It was HBO Max.
Oh, it has this guy in it who's in everything.
Yes. He's in a bunch of like B-grade horror movies. This is also a B-grade movie. The plot of this movie is that the moon gets knocked out of orbit and is slowly falling down to Earth.
Okay.
It has some of the dumbest chase scenes I've ever seen in a movie. The plot is nonsensical, and everyone's taking it very seriously, and I am laughing my ass off the whole time at how ridiculous everything is.
So you enjoyed it?
I quite enjoyed it. The effects were good. They were fairly good. The acting's fine. The plot is nonsensical, and it is just it thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Both my 1 and 2 underrated movies, I was high as shit watching both of them. That's just spoiler alert.
Also love The Departed Chase. Excellent movie. And agree on Whitey Bulger. Agree that they overdo that. It seems like when you look at the tomato meter at a 36%, but the audience scored a 70%. So it seems like while critics did not like this movie, audiences did like this movie.
It's because audiences were getting high as shit when they watched it, probably. This is like a perfect, dumb, get drunk movie. And I pick one of those a year where it's the perfect, get blasted drunk, get high as shit, hang out with your friends, put this movie on, you will laugh your ass off.
Pootie Tang also really, really solid.
Pootie Tang all time.
I had something else that I was going to add. Oh, movies. You either fall into one or two camps when a movie like takes itself really serious. It's either like this is fucking like pretentious and shit, but like then it can be a situation like this where like it's taking itself very serious, but it's like actually hilarious that it's doing so.
Yes, very much so. Christian, your number one overrated movie.
Overrated. Should I just go underrated again just so we have back-to-back overrated? I feel like the overrated might be the best.
We are. Well, we're you and me are going overrated back to back, and then
That
underrated.
is true. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm thinking opposite. Okay, so my number one, which realistically I could have switched the order of these around. I could have picked A River Runs Through It, Stutz, or Out of the Furnace. The number one most underrated film I
No,
watched.
overrated. Overrated.
Oh, so I'm doing overrated right now.
We're both gonna do overrated.
Okay,
Don't spoil the
then,
people on the. Yes, then we finish with we finish with the little sweet sprinkle of frosting.
I am
on
so
top.
slow. I am literally so Jimmy Vollmer. I'm so sorry, guys. The most overrated film I watched this year was Harry Potter, The Philosopher's Stone. It's the first Harry Potter film. I have not read the books. And let me just say that I think what happens with certain film trilogies or films in general are you have the childhood nostalgia that comes with it. I think another trilogy or set of films based on books that I just recently watched was Lord of the Rings, which while it didn't make my overrated list, it didn't quite resonate with me as much as the general populace. And the reason I think that is because I did not watch them as a kid, nor did I read the books. So I think when you completely take out the book factor, I did not read the Harry Potters in elementary school. They were like so large, and I was reading the thin Sesame Street books. They were like, you get extra points if you read the Harry Potter books, and you get extra money at the book fair. And I was like, I can't fucking read. Like, I can't do it.
Oh, Jenna's gonna come after you because Lord of the Rings is her favorite movie.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I like the Lord of the Rings, though. I think Sam is like really good. I love Rudy. I love I cannot believe I'm forgetting the actor's name.
Sean Astin.
Yes. And then in 51st Dates with the legendary the mesh nipple showing, he's excellent. But I feel like I've stated my claim enough without even describing the movie itself. But the thing about me as well is I don't like things that are like about kids. Like I'd much rather just watch adults doing adult things. Like there are movies about kids, don't get me wrong, like the Stand By Me. That's a really good movie. But typically like I'm not the biggest fan of like Stranger Things. There's just something about children where I'm like, I'm just not invested in watching like 10-year-olds.
Did you like it?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, I think I'll like the later Harry Potter films more. Like, I'm gonna still watch them, because I think Voldemort looks sick. Like, I think that looks like a sick character. I just don't want to watch kids. Really, that's what it comes down to. So it wasn't really captivating for me. It didn't have the nostalgia effect of childhood. I didn't read the books. But I am hoping when I get to the newer ones where they're adults and Hermione or the two redheads they fuck or something, I'm really excited to get to that point.
I will say the nostalgia factor is big. I'm with you on I'd say the first two Harry Potters are vastly overrated.
I would not surprise me at all if the second one is also just...
It's the same director, so it's the same style, because these movies, just like Harry Potter and a lot of these movies, they switch directors so much that you get to see a different style for a couple movies. So the first two are one director. I think 3 is another director. 4 is probably my favorite of the whole series.
And which one? What's 4 called?
The Goblet of Fire.
The Goblet of Fire. Okay. I
5.
feel like I see the Goblet of Fire, the Alcatraz or Alakazam one.
So that's 3. The Prisoner of Azkaban is 3. I was a big Harry Potter kid, so I saw all those movies. I read all the books. I like them. You're 100% right that if you didn't watch them as a kid, if you're not putting your nostalgia goggles on, they are objectively not great movies.
Someone said that about Remember the Titans recently.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they're like, Remember the Titans sucks. They're like,
it's a feel-good, awesome movie.
Herman Boone, I gotta rep my guy, but I'm glad that you can understand where I'm coming from on this, because I hate to poo-poo like large franchises like Harry Potter. I also, the Lord of the Rings comment did irk me just because that is my favorite trilogy of all time. It literally has the claim. I mean, I honestly think I like the ending of 3 is like so good. Like
It's really good.
I think 3 is my favorite.
2's mine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think 2 is my least. I think
That's fair.
I like 1 a lot because it just, I don't know. It's a good base. It sets it off.
1 does a really, really good job, and they all 3 do a really good job. My favorite thing about those movies is I'm a sucker for world building, and I think the way Peter Jackson does it, and the Lord of the Rings in general, the world that it encapsulates and the world that he builds through the movies is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, and then I can't even say I didn't read the fucking books either, but
There's a lot of sprawling shots of New Zealand, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fight scenes are excellent. You know, I don't, it's definitely one of those things where like, I 100% understand the critical acclaim. It might not be my personal favorite, but like in terms of like consistent trilogies, like, I mean, the third Godfather is junk. I mean, certain trilogies, there's weak spots.
It's hard.
And yeah, and that's like, they all had a really high floor, really high ceiling, and like,
I think it does help that they were filming them all basically at the same time.
Yeah, Brendan's saying 2 is the best, but Brendan said he cried at the third. The cry factor is so huge that like if you shed tears to a movie, I feel like that inherently makes it like rise in your ranks. Like you have to then be like, that movie made me fucking cry. Like it's got a power, it's got a hold over me. Tom Skerritt does fuck. I love a River.
He does fuck. Confirmed.
Desperation, terrible Stephen King movie, but I love that one. Also Ron Perlman. But yeah, that is my or is that
number one
that's
overrated movie?
That's my number one overrated movie.
My number one overrated movie. I'm switching it on you. I told Christian what it was going to be beforehand. I actually made a mid decision because I remembered I saw this movie. They're both Disney movies. My number one was going to be Pinocchio because Pinocchio that came out this year was garbage. Don't go watch it. It's all actually do watch it. Get really high because I didn't do that for this movie. It might be really fun and stupid in that regard. My number one overrated movie.
Tell the people. So this isn't the one.
No. This is Disney's Pinocchio.
Yep.
There's 3 Pinocchios that came out this year. Disney's Pinocchio, Pauly Shore's Pinocchio, which if everyone was on social media, that was the one everyone was memeing to death. And now Guillermo del Toro's. I saw Disney's. Awful. Not good. My number one overrated movie that I saw this year was Lion King. 2019.
Okay.
Not a good movie. Not a good movie. The voice actors they had just didn't do a very good job. James Earl Jones is old and tired. He does not work as Mufasa anymore. The kid that was Simba was not good. He wasn't a good singer. The music was bad. In a Lion King movie, the music was bad. And they do the thing that every new remake Disney movie does, where they put an extra song or two in that doesn't have the same feel whatsoever. Because the Aladdin had it. Little Mermaid's going to have it. The Lion King had it. Where they're movies that were made in like the 90s. They have a specific Broadway style of the way they're doing the music. And then they just slam in a song that's made for the 2010s or 2020s. It doesn't fit and it's bad. Beyonce is whatever. She's not an actress. It's not a good movie. Everyone was clamoring about how good this movie was. And the CG wasn't even that great on the lions.
I mean, so I have not seen this movie. But
0 facial expressions because they wanted it to be realistic so that no one expresses in it. You go back and watch the 90s animated movie, they're so expressive in their faces. The color palette is bland. They're emotionless animals. It's not good.
I mean, how can you compete with fucking like Phil Collins and Elton John and like excellent soundtrack from the original? Like, you're fired up.
Hans Zimmer is phoning it in at this point.
Wow, you think? Okay.
For some of these movies, he's phoning it in.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some big notches on his belt. But like, without having seen this movie, I sort of went in thinking, I don't really like this. I don't really like this. Like Beyonce.
Yeah, don't watch it. She can sing. She's a great performer all the time. Not a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, People loved that halftime show. I didn't really. Yeah, it was an all right halftime show for me. Her and
And
Bruno Mars.
I love Chiwetel Ejiofor to death. If you're gonna bring James Earl Jones back, why don't you bring who was it? Was it Jeremy? Who was Scar?
Shockey.
Scar was
Jeremy Shockey with his helmet off with the USA
Irons. Jeremy Irons.
tattoo. Yeah.
If you're bringing James Earl Jones back to reprise his role, bring Jeremy Irons back. They're both super old. Why not?
James Earl Jones is kind of like in Futurama, where they just have like the heads in like the jar. Like he's just that old, where they just basically have him in a jar at this point.
Well, you can't. He doesn't have the. He's 90 years old at this point when they made this movie. He doesn't have the booming voice that he had 20 some years ago.
I think that's the thing about when you do remakes of things, it's like you want to capture that same essence of the original, and then in order to do that, you have to get a lot of the same actors just to get the connection from the older people as well that had watched the original or watched as a kid, what have you. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Like Harrison Ford doesn't want to be there. Like Harrison Ford, he's always like that. Just cut me my fucking check. I do not care.
This Indiana Jones movie that's coming out this year is going to be so hilariously bad.
Okay, I believe it.
Also, Jeremy Irons maybe had to choose between House of Gucci. Well, he chose wrong because that movie sucks too.
My girlfriend would probably kill me because she's a huge Lady Gaga fan, but like, yeah, I also heard it was shit. I mean, God, why can't I think of the dude that played the matzo ball? What the fuck's his name? He's in the movie. He plays a trans woman in the Matthew McConaughey
Jared
movie.
Leto.
Jared Leto, yeah, he's like everyone's number one target. He's like Osama bin Laden of Hollywood. I heard he was terrible in House of Gucci.
I also heard he was very bad.
Yeah.
Also, Drumline, extremely underrated. Love Drumline. Drumline
is really good. Movies about drums, Whiplash, excellent.
Love Whiplash.
Yeah, so good. So fucking good. So Chase enjoyed House of Gucci. I can see it.
Nah. What's your number one underrated movie that you saw this year?
Most underrated movie.
Year.
Yeah, most underrated movie I saw in the year of 2022 was the second Men in Black. Second Men in Black has Johnny Knoxville.
Yes.
Which is a W. Now, a lot of people will say the third one is the best. A lot of people will say the first one's the best. The second one might just be my favorite because I think that it captures the essence of like crappy CGI and like the coolness of the early 2000s. Like my brother, he graduated in 2004. Having an older brother that grew up, and then like I was aware of like a lot of the pop culture and stuff, and like I was born in 94, grew up with a lot of that shit, and like there's something captivating about the second Men in Black where it's kind of like when you see pictures of Times Square and you see like all the big ads, you're like, oh yeah, like I can tell when this was, and that's cool. It's like there's so much branding throughout that movie of New York City, and you got the old Pepsi logos and the old Kodak logos, and like
it's a time capsule.
It's a time capsule. It's got that shitty 2000 CG. Like it's just really bad. It's got talking pugs. Like I guess the first one has talking pugs too. But yeah, the second one was good. There was that really hot woman in it. Let me look up actually some of because I only really remember Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, and Johnny Knoxville.
Men in Black 2 might be my most seen movie just randomly on TV.
Wow. Laura Flynn Boyle is the hot one. Rosario Dawson too. Holy crap. Tony Shalhoub, fucking Monk, amazing. Who doesn't love Patrick Warburton? That's another thing. Patrick Warburton, he's awesome. Like, love him. And then you got David Cross, who is like, Arrested Development, amazing. Yep. And then
Bronx Tale as the most overrated movie of all time.
You're
No, Chase said it.
I have not seen Bronx Tale because it's 3 fucking hours.
Yeah.
not, and I don't want to come off because like I will watch long movies. It's just whenever it gets to that 3 hour mark, I have to like, you have to plan the whole day to around watching it. But yeah, I would believe it.
I like Men in Black 2 quite a bit. That's a good underrated movie.
Yeah, but he's got the horse racing. Yeah. It's
true, horse racing people love it. He doesn't. He's a big horse racing guy, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the connection. He's got it in his heart, and he's like, you know what? I see through it.
My most underrated movie of the entire year, and maybe it's similar to Moonfall that like the audience loved it and critics didn't or whatever, was RRR, the Netflix movie out of India. It's so long. I don't even remember how long it is. How long is this movie?
I'm not
sure. This movie is what's the time on this one?
3 hours and 7 minutes.
Yes, it's extremely long. I was extremely high while I watched it. It's the best bromance. It might be the best bromance movie I've ever seen, hands down. It's got comedy. It's got historical drama because this is technically based on 2 historical figures of India. It's got dancing and a musical factor to it. It's got action. It's got love. It's got sadness. There's not really a horror element, but this movie has everything.
How did you even stumble upon? Was this just like a recommend? Like, what made you click on this? I'm guessing you were high and you were.
We were very high. I had heard a little bit about this. I had seen one scene on YouTube. I'll show you after. I'll show you the scene I saw, and then I'll show you my favorite scene from the movie. After we're done filming this, because I don't want to get another copyright strike on my channel. And then that's just like, I was like, this is gonna be a great movie to watch with a friend while you're either drunk or high. And my God, is it?
Is it in Indian? Is it in English?
It's got subtitles. There are British people in the movie. The British people are the most evil people you've ever seen in any movie ever. And it's not in. I think it's got Indian subtitles, but it's also the language they speak is a different language. So there's like 3 dubs. It's weird. But it was great. Unironically, an awesome movie. Also, very much just like a very fun movie. The bromance is what seals it for me.
I mean, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, like this,
Maybe it's appropriately rated then.
Yeah, I mean this, but then again, I had not heard about it until you said it. I had not heard of this movie at all. And now I'm really excited about it. I don't know if I'll probably have to go in inebriated, but like, I love intoxicatingly over the top movies. And
maybe we should watch it.
Yeah, just a fucking 3-hour special, honestly. Yeah, I'm really actually, I'm excited about that. I have that now in my notes. The Gangs of New York sucked. I believe Chase is off. I disagree, but Cameron Diaz sucked. Like, she was really bad acting in that, but like Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio, John C. Reilly, anything with Daniel Day-Lewis, like, you can't really go too far down. Like, it's epic. It's Daniel Day-fucking-Lewis. Bill the Butcher, come on.
Also, John C. Reilly in most movies I'll watch. Love him.
He's multifaceted. I mean, he's just, a lot of the time he's comedic relief, but like any serious role he's had, like Magnolia, fucking excellent. Like, he's really solid. RRR, yeah. I mean, these are movies. I think we gave the people like a really, if you don't like sci-fi, jump here. If you don't like this kind of genre, jump here. Like, we really
a lot of variety,
a vast amount of movies to watch. We'll have to do this again, I guess, around awards season. We'll have to maybe give our picks.
Once they announce those, we'll have to watch a bunch of Oscar movies and give our thoughts on them.
Absolutely. I do enjoy the stream aspect here. I hope we adopt these moving forward. We obviously can't show movies while doing this. That's the bitch, but we love you guys commenting and
we love the comments. Well, we'll have to pop these in. We'll have to do more of these streams. They're very fun. Christian, Where can the people find you? You got your link tree down in the bio.
Yeah, the link tree down in the bio. Find me on TikTok. Join the movement. Check out The Pale Blue Eye. It's going to be on Netflix tomorrow. I'll be in it probably for like 1 second, but maybe 6 seconds. Maybe I'll be in it 3 times for half a second each. I don't fucking know. But check it out. It's a really great thriller. It's receiving mixed reviews, but I really trust Christian Bale as the lead, and Scott Cooper is the director.
When does it come out in theaters?
So it was in select theaters on the 23rd or the 24th of December, and now it's strictly Netflix. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Netflix movie.
They're doing the thing where they just showed it in certain theaters. Okay, I get that.
Yes, like there was one like there's a 10 minutes from my house. They did a showing the night before it released officially. So I could have saw it, but I didn't. But yeah, so check it out if you have Netflix. If you don't, I mean, I think they're getting rid of they're kicking you off now. I think you have to have your own account in 2023.
I think they're limiting the amount that you can share or something like that. It's very stupid, very dumb. Fuck you, Netflix. Y'all know where to find me. XFL Jim everywhere. Thank you for watching this drive-in stream of our most top 4 overrated and underrated movies that we saw in the year of 2022. We'll see you guys for the next stream, or we'll see you for the next drive-in, because it's going to be a banger. So stay tuned for that. Love you guys. Bye-bye.